What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Game Channel. I'm AJ Gels. How's it going? If you read the title of this video, you know what this is about. Fable 4 is officially real. I mean, I've been reading articles about this. You know, some well, maybe it is, maybe it isn't. We're hearing rumors, but according to this article on Games Radar, I found written by Sam Loveridge. We're going to be going through this entire article. I'll go into why I didn't have this on the weekly show in a minute. But apparently, Fable 4 is happening. It's real. I'm pumped. So why didn't I have this on the weekly show? I didn't have this on the weekly show because it's a fairly long article. There's some opinion in here. And I'll read their opinion. I'll give my opinions on the opinions. And we'll get that meta. But we'll do all that stuff. We'll have some fun. I feel like there was one other thing I wanted to say. I meant to get this up earlier today. Hopefully this will... No. Now looking at it, it's 10 o'clock at night. Yeah, this isn't going to be up on Sunday like I promised. It's going to be up first thing Monday morning. I apologize about that. I've been uploading other stuff during today. And, yeah, well, life hates me. So, like I said, Fable 4 is happening. It's story-focused and everything else we know so far. Like I said, Sam Loveridge, Games Radar. Article reads, when Lionhead closed just over 2 years ago, everyone thought Fable 4 was off the table. The Fable creator was shut down in early 2016, and with it went Fable Legends, the free-to-play multiplayer version of the classic open-world series, and, of course, the dream of Fable 4 went too, or so we thought. Fable 4 is coming. In January this year, Eurogamer managed to get a scoop on the fact that Fable 4 actually exists, so now at least we know that it is coming, just not from Lionhead. According to the report, which comes from, and I quote, sources close to the project, the next Fable game is at works by other UK developers, Playground Games. The studio, which has made its name by creating the Forza Horizon series, is currently recruiting more developers for its now second office in Leamington Spa, I hope that's correct, with the aim of creating a team around 200 to work on Fable 4. Fans will be pleased to hear the next Fable will follow the cues set out by the previous games in the main series, with Fable 4 set to be another open-world action RPG focused on story and characters. Playground Games had been openly advertising for developers to work on a AAA open-world RPG before the Eurogamer Report 2, which caused rumors to spark about a brand new IP for the studio. Forza Horizon might be open-world, but it's certainly not an RPG. The Fable 4 rumors don't stop there, though. The report was backed by an Xbox Live API leak that emerged a little earlier this year, which suggested that a Fable game with the codename Wisdom is in the works again by a UK developer. A former Lionhead lead engine programmer, Don Williamson, also posted on Twitter that he knew a UK studio was working on Fable 4. He stated he thought the choice was interesting, but later deleted the tweet. WCCF Tech managed to capture the tweet, though, which read, and I quote, okay, having no inside information, I totally know who's building Fable 4 now. Interesting choice. He later replied to another user who asked whether the studio was based in Brighton, another UK locale, but he said there wasn't a studio capable of the task in the area. Once again, here's the picture of the tweets. The Fable 4 release date is probably a long way away. But before you get too excited, it's looking like we're going to be in for quite the wait for Fable 4, of course. Playground is still working on pulling a development team together, so working on recreating Albion in all its glory is going to take a little while. What could happen is that Fable 4 gets an official E3 2018 announcement with a cheeky teaser trailer revealing that it's on the way. The Xbox is struggling a little with exclusives nowadays, beyond Sea of Thieves, Crackdown 3, and a handful of indie titles, So it would be a huge boon for gamers to know that something else is en route. Okay, look, I agree. The Xbox is struggling right now, but Sea of Thieves and Crackdown 3, that's not going to save the Xbox right now. I'm sorry, and neither is a handful of indie titles. The Xbox right now it's treading water. It's in trouble. I'm not going to lie. I'm not saying that the Xbox and Microsoft are going down, but the Xbox One is quickly going into irrelevance. I talked about this on one of my Bayonetta videos when I was just trying to work on a little mini boss and just was getting my ass kicked. I think they just realized there's no more blood to squeeze from the stone in terms of the big IPs like Halo, and I would also say Sadly, I'm not sure if we're ever going to see another Gears of War game. I love Gears of War. I actually really liked Gears of War 4 as well. I don't think it hit the same tone that the first trilogy of Gears of War did from Epic, but I think that the Coalition was really doing a good job with Fable 4, or excuse me, Gears of War 4, and I really hope we do see another one. But I'm not sure if we will. But that's just my opinion there on some non-Fable stuff. Let's see here. Will there ever be a Fable 4 PS4 release? Now, here's something we're definitely sure of. You're never going to be able to play, Fable 4 on PS4. The IP is owned by Microsoft, and because of that, you can put all your money on the fact that it'll be exclusive to Xbox One and PC when it does eventually arrive. The original Fable creators have mixed feelings about a sequel, seeing as the original team behind Fable is no more. It's understandable that the folks behind the original series have some concerns about a sequel being made by an entirely new team. And I quote, "I have slightly mixed feelings," said Fable co-creator Simon Carter in an interview with Eurogamer. And I quote, on one hand, it's great for the UK games industry and very pleasing that Fable isn't dead. Indeed, it will be lovely to play one as a punter. I like that. Without coming out in hives. On the other, it is a little curious to get rid of a team that is uniquely expert in making Fable and then try to make Fable. Fable is a weird game and a tough one to deconstruct for a new team. That said, the team in question is very talented, and I'm sure they'll do a fantastic job. See, I'll make a similar argument to like the Coalition doing Gears of War 4. Now, a little different here because Fable is a very different beast. Because say what you want about Gears of War, I mean Gears of War almost completely redefined what a third-person shooter was, in my opinion. With the active reload, the cover system, blah 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 blah. But no matter what, at the end of the day, it was a third-person shooter, and those aren't really too terribly hard. It just comes down to story. Well, I think Fable has that unique tone, it has that unique style of it's serious, but at the same time, it doesn't let it be serious for too long. It's always fun. It's always making a goofy joke. It's so sardonic and sarcastic. I really like Fable, and I think this is going to be what makes or breaks this game, is whether or not Playground can nail the tone. And I think this guy is spot on when he says it, that this is a weird game for a new development team. I'm interested to see what they're going to do, and again, I agree with him. They're very talented. I might not like the Forza series so much, but so many people absolutely love the Horizon franchise. So I don't know what to tell you there, but I can say I think they'll make a good game, but whether or not it will be a good Fable game is very much up to question. All right, let's see here. All right, Microsoft has... Yes, I know there was a weird cut there. Sorry. Microsoft has always believed in the Fable IP. In early 2017... Then why close Lionhead? Tell them, don't do Fable Legends. Make another Fable game, you freaks. In early 2017, long after Lionhead closed, Xbox boss Phil Spencer actually tweeted that he thought the Fable series still had potential. Yeah. Because you slap Fable on a game and it can be mediocre. I mean, I don't remember a lot of people loving Fable 2. I liked it. Granted, I didn't like the ending so much because the ending was you just kind of shot a guy in the face and it was over. But all in all, I mean, people love Fable, the franchise. I'm not sure about that VR, not that VR one, that Kinect one. But all in all, people love Fable. I have no doubt that you'd slap the name on it and make it anywhere close to the quality of the other ones. People love it. People would buy it. It'll sell. But whatever. Let's see here. That was about the time that people started to speculate that there might be a little glimmer of hope for Fable 4. Nothing to announce right now. Blah 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 blah. Phil Spencer. It wasn't exactly evidence back then, but in light of new information from the various reports, it certainly adds a little more official weight to all the Fable 4 rumors. What we want to see from Fable 4. Until we have an official reveal from Microsoft, we'll just be here waiting to see the chickens in the taverns and making a Fable 4 wish list of all the things we'd love to see. Make combat epic, but also more personal. Although combat has been great fun in previous Fable games, the next entry in the series could do well to make things a little more grand, both on a large and small scale. Firstly, make some enemies have more emphasis, slow things down at times, and make the build up to major fights feel more weighty. It'll keep fights from feeling mundane over time and ensure that your decisions really matter when it comes to the big characters. I could agree with that on boss fights, yet I do like how sometimes it'll just chuck enemy after enemy after enemy, like there'll just be big waves, and you're just hacking, slashing, and shooting your way through. I really like how the game does it at times, and then at other times, I think... I agree with this partially. I think there are times that they could slow it down, but also there are times that they can make it, that they could keep it the way it is. So, push and pull a little bit, but honestly, combat can be the same way it was in Fable 3, and I would not complain that much, because it's not necessarily, when they're saying make things more grand, I don't have a necessarily problem with combat, but I'll wait to see if they say this near the end, and I'll bring up something near the end of this that might be interesting. Continues, of course, that could extend the scale of battles too. Rather than making you juggle between half a dozen enemies at a time, why not make the occasional battle look like a deleted scene from Lord of the Rings or Game of Thrones? It would play into the fantasy adventure thing a little more and keep your playstyle on its toes. And while they're there, the development team could also add a little more weapon variety. The emphasis has always been on swords and bows, but melee could do with some attention in Fable 4. Give us staffs or spears or other new weapon types to hit bad guys with. Well, I mean, yeah, we technically had guns, but what's the difference between the rifle and the pistol, or it was a sword or a hammer? That was pretty much, those were your choices. So I agree with give us a little bit more diversity in the weapon types. But here's a thing when they say make combat more grand, adding maybe a grand strategy element or an RTS element or something. When I say RTS, I'm actually thinking of something sort of like if anybody remembers Brutal Legend, how the game took place in first person. Or not first person. It was third person action on the ground. God, I think I actually have that game on 360. I might actually play it on the channel. No, it would be really hard to play on the channel because of copyright issues, because of all the great music to that game. Sorry, off topic internal conversation with myself. If you want, anybody out there, if you want to see me play Brutal Legend, like I said, I'll have to do it without the music, or maybe try it and see what'll happen. But if you guys want to see it, tell me. I'll try and do it, because I love the shit out of that game. Back on topic, like I was saying, it's something kind of like that, where Eddie turned into the demon. He basically flew above, and you could tell it wasn't a full-on RTS, but you could give your units... you give them simple commands. I mean, there were different unit types. Something like that, I think, could be really cool for a Fable game, and I think they could really make it work. And by grand strategy elements, I mean, you maybe halfway through the game, you take over a kingdom, or maybe you start as the king, or something similar to like what 3 did, but then instead of what 3 did, where you went on and ruled the kingdom, which I actually thought was really cool and really fun. I just wish there was more of that in the game. Maybe you have to... conquer other kingdoms, or you can choose, do you want to go on the warpath or be diplomatic, and maybe actually extend the game endlessly. Maybe have after you explore within your area, maybe it's a randomly generated world, or no, actually I guess you can't do that, because I guess the world has enough lore that there are kingdoms around you, but even then, then you could build out from there and decide, then you can just rule your kingdom just indefinitely. Do you want to be diplomatic? Do you want to go to war and conquer the world, or whatever? I think there could be some really cool concepts there. I'm not sure if they'll do it. Again, this is all just me speculating and coming up with ideas, but who knows? That might be really interesting. So, give the dog a bigger role. This should go without saying, but although previous Fable dogs have been very good boys, it would be better for them to have a little more purpose to actual gameplay. In Fable 2, he would dig up treasures and help you in battle with more tricks available if you found the right books. He would also change appearances depending on your morality alignment. I did like that. That was cool. In Fable 3, however, he became a smaller part of your journey through Albion. You could pet him, play fetch, or discipline him, and occasionally he would find you treasures. Pretty much. Having the dog play a larger role in the journey along the lines of Fable 2's faithful canine or dog meat from Fallout 4 would make it feel more integral part of the gameplay rather than just a cute face to greet you every time you start up the game, although saying that, that's okay too. I agree with that, yet in a way I could honestly not give a crap if they didn't have another dog. I really don't care. I mean, they could choose to not have another dog in Fable 4 if they make it, or maybe just have him be a pet at your house or whatever. I don't know, but in all honesty, this is something I could take or leave. You know, if they have a dog, I would like them maybe to do it more like Fable 2. But in all honesty, I don't really care if they have a dog. But actually, back on my point from before, though, when I said maybe you start as a king or queen or whatever, I guess you technically couldn't do that in Fable, just because I think part of the fun of Fable is starting as kind of the lowly peasant and working your way up. I think that's kind of the fun of the game. So, take what you want. Make all your decisions matter more. Original Fable creator Peter Molyneux famously always had grand visions of what Fable's morality system could be, but in reality, the gameplay never quite lived up to the expectations or promises. Hopefully, with the power of the Xbox, of Xbox One X and PC, we could see the morality system and overall decision making get a decent overhaul for Fable 4. It would also help if your clothing choices weren't just cosmetic either. Yes, your morality changed your appearance, especially in terms of skin, but your clothes had no effect on your character's attributes or playstyle. Maybe in Fable 4 they could. It's an interesting concept. If we're going to be talking the morality system of Fable 4, honestly, what I would like to see is more of your everyday decisions affect more. I mean, because they had certain big decisions in Fable 4 where you did a quest and one thing, or at the very end of the game when you're ruling the kingdom. Like, those were some really cool choices that they gave you. You know, do you want the money? Do you want to help the people? I mean, they're very black and white choices. Maybe I'd like some choices with a little bit more gray area. But at the same time, I really like the concept and also how those choices shaped the world. There were a few like little side quests that you made certain decisions, like a bridge would be built here or a crater would be, like would change the way the world would look. I would like to see that in Fable 4. But in all honesty, that's what I would like to see. I'd like to see every decision matter, not just the big major ones. What they mentioned here, that would be interesting. But again, like I said, I just want to see more. I want more, either more important choices or every small decision have every small decision lead up to the big decision. Like each small, like you don't just have 4 big choices. You have 3 or 4 sets of big choices for each big choice. You know, like if I decide, like I'm playing, I'm walking through the game and I have a character here in this little quest, and I have this choice A, B, or C, and I make that, and I go down a path. I go down one path, and then maybe I can get big choice 1, big choice 2, or big choice 3, but I can get big choice 4. Depending on my choices, and this, I know this is a really complicated system, and I bet an absolute coding nightmare. But if they could do it, I would definitely suggest this, especially if I'm making sense. I don't know if I'm making sense to anybody out there. Like I said, like if you're coming up to your first big choice, there's 4 different big choices that could appear at this time, depending on all the small choices you made up leading up to it. That's what I'm talking about. I think that could be really cool. Like certain things are closed off to you and certain things are open to you depending on the choices that you've made interacting with the daily characters. I think that would be neat. But again, entirely possible that it wouldn't. So, again, like I said, that could be an absolute coding nightmare. I'm just sitting here saying, hey, wanna know what would be cool? It's kind of like the Bill Burr bit of what Steve Jobs did. He just walks in eating a pretentious fruit like a pear, just like, hey, another thing, add this to the new iPhone. He said, just get it done. Zero. God. Number 4, list another all-star cast. The list of voice actors on board for Fable 4 or Fable 3, was a dazzling array of talent from Stephen Fry to Ben Kingsley to Sean Pertwee, no idea, Michael Fassbender, and even Simone Pegg, John Cleese, and Zoe Wanamaker. The voice talent to the game was brilliant. Hearing well-known voices in your game is a huge boon for Fable 3 and in Fable 4. Could have a similar star-studded cast. We wouldn't mind at all. Not much to add to that. That's pretty spot on. Bring back minigames. RSI, an occupational hazard way back in Fable 2 and Fable 3. Thanks to those job-related minigames that put your thumb to the test and were 97% certain that would reappear in Fable 4, the muscle memory would reawaken from its slumber. Each activity requires you to stab various buttons in a certain order, but with each promotion the difficulty increases, mainly by making the button prompts zip across the screen much faster. There is the chance to earn some serious gold, and when you get really good at it, you sort of go into a daze where your fingers act independently, waking up from the stupor with a sack of gold by your feet. Or is that just me? Again, I agree. I think that's... yeah. And, yeah, number 6, keep the silliness. Although it's easy to go a little over the top. We're looking at you, Saints Row. Oh, but that's part of Saints Row. Also, make another Saints Row game. I want that. There's a wonderful place that lies between that and being very boring indeed, and that's where Fable 4 has always sat, embracing the silliness, the occasional black humor, and always individual quirkiness. If Playground Games, or whoever is making Fable 4, can channel the ethos and charm, it'll help the series continue to stand out from other RPGs out there. And then up here, there will be a link to this article down in the description below. As far as the silliness goes, I agree with that. I mean, like I said, it's not Fable if it doesn't have that kind of dark, sardonic humor. And I think that's where Fable 4 actually, or Fable escapes from, like, the Saints Row franchise, because Fable has always been more dark, sarcastic sort of humor, while Saints Row is just dumb, over the top. It's like this is made by a 12-year-old. And that's actually why I like Saints Row. I'm not going to lie. I really love Saints Row. I want Saints Row 5. Make it. But all in all, I agree with number 6. Again, kind of like number 5 and 4. I have no disagreements. And I have slight disagreements with 1, 2, and 3. But again, I went over my additions. So there we go. Like I said, for all we know, Fable 4 is happening. Or as, how to put it, it's almost all been... It's all been... What's the expression? It's all but been confirmed. There we go. Fable 4. I hope you enjoyed this. Tell me what you maybe want to see in Fable 4. Tell me what you thought of my opinions. Take a look at the article. Any of that stuff. Put that down in the description. I love to hear, or in the comments. I love to hear from you guys. You can also private message me or publicly message me, whatever, on Facebook, Twitter, or Minds. Links to all that stuff is in the description below, along with a link to my my blog site, my website, whatever you want to call it, and that is where I post all my written content, along with some video content. I think it's like the first part of every series goes up there. Other than that, like, comment if you're not already. Please subscribe to the channel. Stay tuned for more next time, but until then, I'm AJ Gels, the Salem Third Gaming Channel. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. I'm out.